What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the Ming Moto Show. So, real quick, I was born in 1991, okay? And I'm classified as a millennial, right? But I personally don't feel like I fit the criteria of a millennial because the 60s, in my opinion, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even somewhat of the 90s have better music, better TV shows, definitely better fucking cars. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a 2020 Ford Raptor, right? And a 2020 Ford F-250 four-door long bed in black and have both of them in black. But the thing is if you have a diesel truck that's 1997 and older in California, you do not have to have it smogged. If you have a car that's 1974 or older, like 73, 72, 71, 70, so on and so forth, you don't have to get it smogged in California. Now, that's going to be different in every state, of course, but I'm talking just from experience that I have here in California. But I love the 1968 to 1971 Ford Mustang GT500s, the fastbacks, the Mach 1s, the Boss 429, which is the rarest fucking Mustang there because only like 5,000 of them were made, and a barn find one sitting in a barn covered in 100 pounds worth of dirt that's been sitting there for 40 years that hasn't ran in 30 years is going to run you back $150,000 to $300,000. Now a fully restored one's going to cost you $500,000 if it's done right or more. But I love the old school cars, like the old school Mustangs, the 70 to 73 split bumper Camaros, the old Plymouth Roadrunners, the old 70, 71 Challengers from Dodge, right? The old Chevelles, the old Novas, the old Ford Galaxy 500s and shit like that, right? The old Trans Am. Back when shit was fucking, life was great back then, you know what I'm saying? Because gas was super cheap and people weren't thinking about gas mileage. They were concerned about how badass can I make my car's already badass, but how can I make it even more badass, and how can I get more power out of the thing and be able to cruise down the strip on a Friday, Saturday night with their friends and shit, listening to the old school music like AC/DC, Pink Floyd, Metallica, U2, Def Leppard, Van Halen, all those badass freaking gosh damn 60s, 70s, and 80s bands, right? Like, back when music actually fucking meant something, not this shit today where people are rapping about freaking selling dope and calling women bitches and hoes and, fucking talking shit about everybody and, wanting to put big 24-inch fucking wheels on their vehicles with low profile fucking tires and all this shit. It's like, yeah, like I love a lot of the shit that we have today. Like I said, some of the newer Ford trucks are badass, but the old F100s and the old, from the 60s and 70s, man, and the old Broncos from the 60s and 70s, even the 1994 Bronco that, yes, O.J. Simpson ran from the cops in. I like the old body style, the old square bodies, the old G bodies, the old box bodies and shit like that. Like, that type, and the music back then was so much freaking better. And, well, I mean, at least the rock music was, right? Like, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Pink Floyd, Van Halen, Def Leppard, and all that type of shit. But, and there's some good music out today, and there are some really nice trucks and cars out today, but I'm not into that. Like, I mean, I like the Lamborghini Gallardos and the Lamborghini Hurricanes, and stuff like that. And I like these newer dirt bikes like the KTM 250 I've got now, but you know, I just kind of like a lot of the music and a lot of the cars from back then. Even like the 1934 Ford Tudor sedan is freaking sick. I mean, my grandfather had a 41 Ford Coupe, man, and that thing was a freaking nice hot rod, you know, and it was hot rod red with the wire spoke wheels and shit that were staggered. They were taller and wider in the back than the front, and you know, had the shaved door handles, a shaved trunk handle, and you know, that trunk was big enough to where you could shove 10 dead bodies in the back of it, and you know, whatever, no problem, right? You know, but not that I would ever do that, of course, but you know, that's just the way it is. But you know, we don't have, and I feel like people took more pride in their work, in the shit that they built and the things that they did back then more than they do now. And that's why I can relate to people who are older than myself, you know, especially ones who grew up in that time frame that did blue collar type work, because I'm a blue collar type person. I don't like the button down freaking shirts with the long sleeves and the slacks and the ties and sitting in an office all day as your life is wasting away and the days go by and they start to blend in. You know, I'd rather be out digging a ditch by hand. I'd rather be out shoveling gravel. Yeah, it's hard work and my body's gonna ache and hurt at the end of the day, but you know what? At least I feel like I actually earned my living. And you know, yeah, I'm not gonna get rich off of doing that type of shit, but it's just a mentality that I have. You know, I can't sit inside all day. You know, like when I'm sitting here at this place working, I get up and I go outside all the damn time because there's nothing to do. So I'm outside and I'm trying to find shit to do. So let me know what era or decade you like the best. You know, I honestly love the cartoon shows that I grew up with in the 90s, like Hey Arnold and Cat Dog and the Rugrats, and you know, Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead and shit like that, and also South Park and The Simpsons. But you know, yeah, it's like I said, the 30s to the 90s had the better type vehicles and music and all that shit. Catch you guys on the flip side. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Bye. Catch you on the flip side.